Hi, I'm Fred Satilli, and I study law. And studying law is not easy, but I find that the more I study it, the easier and simpler it gets. So, what I found here is a very simple courtroom exchange over a traffic ticket. And when you go to court, you don't want to fight in court. People think they want to go and dominate in court and kick ass, you know? And that is not the way to do it. The way to do it is to gently, quietly, respectfully have your case dismissed. That's a real good way to win. You're not going to get a judge to break down and say he's sorry. You want to walk out of there as quickly as you can unscathed. So I'm going to read this narrative, and hopefully this will inspire you to study law, because knowing the law helps you when you have to face the law. So here we go. And it starts out by saying, this is easy to do if you don't know too much. I didn't know too much, but I boxed them in. You must play a little dumb. If you're arrested and you go to court, just remember that in a criminal action, you must understand the law, or it is reversible as an error when you go to appeal. It's reversible because you were tried when you didn't understand the law. Okay? If you don't understand the law, they can't try you. It's a mistrial, and they have to dismiss the case. The first thing they have to do, apparently, is get you to understand the law. So, in any traffic case, you're called into court and the judge reads the law and then asks, do you understand the charges? And you say, no, Your Honor, I do not. And the judge says, well, what's so difficult about understanding the charges? This is a one-way street. You went the wrong way on a one-way street. Either you went the wrong way or you didn't, right? What is so difficult to understand? And you say, well, Your Honor, it's not the letter of the law, but rather the nature of the law that I don't understand. The Sixth Amendment to the Constitution gives me the right to ask the court to explain the nature and cause of any action against me. And upon my request, the court has the duty to answer. So now the judge has a duty, and usually you don't think of giving the judge a duty or explaining his duty to him, but you have now done that, and you are now beginning to take charge of the action. I have a question about the nature and cause of the action. That's what you tell them. Well, what is that? What do you want to know? Well, Your Honor, is this a civil or a criminal case? And the judge will say, it's criminal. If it were a civil action, there could be no fine. There are no fines in civil actions. In civil actions, it's between you and someone else you're contracted with, and the money exchange is between the two of you, not between the court. So it's a criminal action, and he tells you this. You say, thank you, Your Honor, for telling me that. Then the record will show that this action against me is a criminal action. Is that right? And the judge will say yes. And you will say, I would like to ask another question about the criminal action. There are two criminal jurisdictions mentioned in the Constitution. One is under common law, and the other deals with international maritime contracts under admiralty jurisdiction. So equity is civil, so it can't be, right, it's criminal, it's not civil, so it can't be an equity case. You're not in a court of equity. Very important distinction. You say this is a criminal action, so it seems it would have to be under common law or maritime law. But what puzzles me, Your Honor, is that there is no corpus delicti, no injured party, here to give the court jurisdiction over my personal and my property, over my person and my property under common law. Therefore, it doesn't appear this court is moving under common law. And the judge says, no, this court is not operating under common law. And you say, thank you. Well, thank you, Your Honor. But now you make the charge against me even more difficult to understand. The only other criminal jurisdiction that would apply would be if there was an international maritime contract involved, and that I was a party to that contract, and that I breached the contract, and the court is now operating in admiralty jurisdiction. And I don't believe I have such a contract, and I deny having such a contract. And if you have such a contract, well, I need you to put it in evidence so I can read it and determine if I violated the contract or not. Now, the judge says, you've now gotten the judge in a tight spot, right? And the judge says, no, I can assure you we are not operating in admiralty jurisdiction. We're not out in the ocean somewhere. We're right here in the middle of the state. This is not admiralty jurisdiction. So now you say, well, thank you, Your Honor. You see how nice you are? You're thanking him for everything he's saying because you're a respectful gentleman in honor. And you say, thank you, Your Honor, but now I'm more puzzled than ever. If the charge isn't under common law and it's not under admiralty, and those are the only two criminal jurisdictions mentioned in the Constitution, what kind of jurisdiction could this court be operating under? And the judge will say, this is statutory jurisdiction. And you say, oh, thank you, Your Honor. I'm glad you told me that. But I have never heard of that jurisdiction. So I have to defend myself under that jurisdiction. I would need to know, this is key, so get this. You tell the judge, I would need to have the rules of criminal prosecution for statutory jurisdiction. You're accepting what he's saying. He's saying it's statutory. You're not disputing that. You're simply saying, okay, cool, man, thank you, good. Now what I need so that I can defend myself are the rules of criminal procedure for statutory jurisdiction. Well, can you tell me where I can find those rules? And now the judge is mad. He says, if you want answers to questions like that, get a licensed attorney. I'm not allowed to practice law from the bench. He thinks that's clever. He thinks he's got you now. He's telling you he can't practice law from the bench. And you will say, oh, Your Honor, I don't think anyone would accuse you of practicing law from the bench. If you just answer a few questions to explain to me the nature and cause of this action so I can defend myself. And the judge says, I told you before, I'm not going to answer any more questions. Do you understand that? If you ask any more questions in regard to this, I'm going to find you in contempt of court. See, this is the bullying is now starting. He's backed into a corner and it's fight or flight and he's going to fight. Now, if you can't find a licensed attorney, the court will appoint one for you. But if you want those questions answered, you need to get a licensed attorney. Now, a licensed attorney is a member of the court. He's not going to work for you. He's a bar member, right? He's got an oath to something that's higher than his responsibility would be to you, and his responsibility is to the court. So he's going to attempt to pretend to represent you while not representing you. And interestingly enough, look in Black's Law under what it says what a license is. A license is allowance to practice something that would normally be illegal. So the last thing you want is one of those pirates. Now you're going to say, that was all editorial comment. Now you're going to say, thank you, Your Honor, but let me just see if I got this straight. Has the court made a legal determination that it has the authority to conduct a criminal action against me, the accused, under a secret jurisdiction, the rules of which are known only to this court and licensed attorneys, thereby denying me the right to defend myself in my own person? You get that? He has no answer for that. The judge will probably postpone the case and eventually dismiss it, just let it go, because he can't proceed. He can't proceed. You can deny a representation by a lawyer. You can demand to represent yourself. You know it and he knows it because you know the law. So you put the court in a situation where it has no jurisdiction over you. Now, I am not saying that this little narrative here is legal advice or anything like that, and it's going to work every time, and you're not going to end up in a court of appeals or whatever may happen. But I hope that this narrative inspires you to study the law, because I doubt anybody watching this video could just spit out what I just said, including me, right? You would have to know things like rules of criminal procedure for statutory jurisdiction. You have to memorize that sentence. This is not a lot here. This is 1,000 words. This is not a lot of law study, but it sure is powerful, isn't it? So continue with your law study. I hope you're inspired. As it goes by, it seems to me to get simpler and simpler. And my goal here is to inspire you. So thanks for watching and listening. Hope I've done a good job, and I'll see you in the next video.